Welcome to the Real Estate Fight Club, a podcast for agents where you'll witness a battle of opinions about topics affecting your real estate business. There are many ways for agents to achieve success. The secret is to find which approach will work for you. Now, always in your corner, here are your hosts, Jen Mertland and Monica Weekly.
All right, and welcome to Real Estate Fight Club. Today, I am fighting with Jimcamarata about can you hold open houses for other agents at other brokerages? And Jimcamarata from Keller Williams is here to fight with me. Hey, Jim.
I'm not a fighter, but we can have a shared difference of agreement. So
okay, all right. So. Okay, so based on the Code of Ethics, can you hold open houses for agents at other brokerages?
The simple answer is no.
That's dumb.
In the state of Minnesota, it's actually state statute that says that you cannot do that. You can operate only under your brokerage and not under somebody else's, which is what happens when you're holding an open house for the XYZ Realty company. Is
it in the Code of Ethics at all nationally?
Yeah. I researched that as well. And 12-5, it's about marketing. Realtors shall not advertise nor permit any person employed by or affiliated with them to advertise real estate services or listed property in any medium without disclosing the name of that realtor's firm in a reasonable and readily apparent manner, either in the advertisement or in electronic advertising via a link to a display with all required disclosures. And then 12-8, the obligation to present a true picture in representations to the public includes information presented, provided, or displayed on realtors' websites or others. Realtors shall use reasonable efforts to ensure that information is current and apparent, that information is accurate. So when you're not working for that other real estate company, our state looks at that and says that's misleading. The Code of Ethics is also saying it's misleading. If I'm with Keller Williams.
Why is it misleading? Because if the sign out front has the Keller Williams sign, and let's say I'm holding an open house, I'm an EXP, but like my directionals are EXP, then it's all laid out there.
It is laid out, but then the general public, they're feeling that it's not being fully apparent. And what is going on? Who's EXP? Who's Keller Williams? Who really has this authority to hold this property open?
It just doesn't pass the logic test for me because it's an agency. It's an agency issue. Is that what we're saying?
Yeah, because we have fiduciary obligations, and all 7 of them. Old car, but the fiduciary obligations we are representing this particular client. And if you're holding it open for me, you're not representing my client, the seller.
I'm not representing your client, the seller.
Right.
But you're allowing the open house to be done by somebody else. And oftentimes the seller may not, if the seller doesn't care and the seller knows about it, what is the problem? And because we can, like, if I see a house that you have and it's in a neighborhood that I like to work, I can call you and say, hey, Jim, may I advertise your listing as long as I put your name and company name on my advertisement on Facebook? You can do that.
You can do it. Again, it's still, the public.
You can do it, is the point.
I don't want to generalize. It does cause confusion.
It doesn't cause confusion because they don't know the companies and they don't care. They see advertisements all the time and they think it's Zillow that has the house. Like they don't know and they don't care. They just want to see the house.
And on our websites, they're all, but
Yeah,
we have to give
they're all connected.
credit for, that's a XYZ Realty
Yeah.
listing or Keller Williams listing.
I just
But
think that like if
I just
we
ask,
are,
go
yeah,
ahead.
if we're for cooperation, it makes no sense to have this limitation of cooperation because if it's clear, if the issue is agency, well, if the issue is marketing, then we shouldn't be able to market anybody else's listings, which then kind of then we have to backtrack and say, okay, well, what's the point of the MLS, right? Like, what do we, well, the
Yeah.
MLS is, anyway, that's for compensation, but you see my point. What's the point of IDX feeds if we
Yeah.
can't show everybody's listing? But we can. So we can
Okay.
do that on a lot of levels. We can do it in writing, we can do it in flyers, we can do it online, we can do it on social media, we can do all these things. I don't understand how an open house is different.
Well, for one, it's in black and white. The state statute
Burn
here
it, Jim,
says
burn
can't do
it.
it. Can't do it. I don't know what your state says about it. You may want to look up the
Sure,
state
we can't
statutes.
do it either.
Ah, okay. So
Yeah.
the driving answer is it's against the law.
But
So
why? Like that's the whole point, right? Like what are we preventing? So if we're preventing confusion on who's representing, we have the consumer guide that says, Jim from Keller Williams is representing. And then there should be like maybe another piece of paper that's like, okay, well, Jennifer from EXP is going to hold this house open, but she doesn't represent seller or said house because even if there's an offer, it has to go through you, Jim, the listing agent. So what's the problem?
mhm. State doesn't want it. State just says no. I had that back in Maryland too. They
But
just
what
say
thought
nope,
process am
nope,
I
nope, nope.
missing that most of the time it's okay, but in this instance, it's not?
Yeah, I'd have to talk to the commissioner on that, and find out what
Okay.
their reasoning is, or some senator or congressperson who passed that law. But it's been on the books for as long as I know, and I don't know. They don't want the public to be confused and or misled.
I
That's
feel
their
like
whole
we
thing.
should sort of
That's their
focus on
whole
our
thing.
realtors that are confused.
I don't go down that path.
Well,
Ooh-wee. Yeah.
yeah, this is interesting. So, if you're listening to this, I want to know what you think. I think that have you ever held an open house? I've had many times where, because I'm more of a listing agent, open houses are really, I mean, you can find sellers at open houses, 100% you can, but it's just not like in my schedule. I don't really, if you're going to do them, I think you should do them right. And if you want to do them right, text 72513-400-1691, and I will give you the 7-step guide to doing an open house right. Yeah, that's a good one. Because if you're not going to do it right, then don't do it at all.
Yeah.
But you should also know yourself and be like, okay, well, I'm not going to do it right, but I work really well with this agent and they're at another brokerage, and that's okay. We can all be friends, I feel like, can we?
I've got a lot of friends and acquaintances, and it sure helps
Right.
in the negotiation process.
Yes, it does. So I don't know. You got final thoughts on this? I think it's dumb.
I know, I know. Until we get the licensing commissioners to change that law, we've got to abide by it. So
I think I don't know if I should say this.
them's the rules.
You know what? I'm going to say it. I
Go
think
ahead,
part
say
of
it.
it is I would like the data on the people that are making the rules and the people, like what was their average like number of homes sold in a year? Like, are they just people? Are they, you know what I mean? Like, I want to know the data on who these people are.
I mean, the people that are making the state statutes, they're not
Yeah.
selling. They're not selling. These are political people.
Yeah. They
So
don't
they're
know.
government. Nope, they're
Well, then
government
who
people.
are they asking? How are they getting the information? And unfortunately, in our industry, the average agent is, I mean, 85% of the agents that are licensed today will not be licensed in 1 to 3 years.
Mhm.
And the ones that stay licensed, the average amount of houses they sell is what, like 5, 8, something like that? Is not a lot. It's not one a month. So it's like all
Yeah.
these rules to protect people that, I don't know.
All valid points, Jen. I'm not arguing with you. They're
I'm
all
trying to
valid
fight with you,
points.
Jim. Come on, fight with me.
But
You're a
it's
peacekeeper.
well, I'm also the enforcer, as
Yeah, you're the
the broker in my
broker.
office. Yeah, I've got to enforce it. And I had a really interesting encounter with, do you remember Mrs. Kravitz, the next door neighbor on the old TV program? What was it, Bewitched?
Bewitched. Yes, I
Yeah,
do. The
the,
nosy
the
neighbor.
busybody. Okay.
Yeah.
I met Mrs. Kravitz the other day at one of my listings.
Oh,
She
nice.
is literally standing on the property line with her arms crossed. And says, who the hell are you and what are you doing on that property?
Okay, relax. Relax.
Are you the realtor? Yes, ma'am, I
Yes.
am. Oh, so you're going to be one of those dishonest and crooked. And I'm sitting there
Oh,
go,
wow.
what? I said,
Wow.
excuse me? You don't stay in this business over 4 decades by being unethical or not following the
So
rules.
rude. Be like, are you one of those
So
neighbors who lies to the people coming in so the house doesn't sell? That's what I'd say to our stalker.
So I had to fast forward and say, okay, if she's going to be there during showings and such, I don't want her being a detriment.
Yep.
So I made nice with her. I turned on the charm and
Good for you. That would have been
just
super hard for
smooth it.
me.
Oh man, she just, I wanted to smack her.
That's so
But
silly.
she's lived there for 40 years,
Oh,
and
geez, time for her to move. Yeah, the neighbors told me that they wanted you to move too. Where do you want to go?
yeah. So
Um,
you got to follow the rules. And I
yeah,
made it very clear that I am the rule follower.
you
So
are, and the
yeah,
rule
I
enforcer,
are.
and I'm the rule
Yeah.
breaker because rules are meant to be broken.
Well, a
Jim.
lot of them are suggestions. It's kind of like stop signs.
Yeah, so you got to roll through those. Just look and roll. Jim, if people have a referral for you in Minnesota, what is the best way to get a hold of you?
Okay, I'm in the Twin Cities area, so you can either text or call 612-562-7461 or email me, Jimcamarata at kw.com.
Awesome.
I love
And if
referrals.
yes, of course you do. And if you are interested in getting that 7-step guide to hosting a great open house, text 72513-400-1691. Or if you are looking to level up your business, level up your life, and you want to talk about partnering, call me or text me at 513-400-1691. All right, Jim, thanks for being on.
My pleasure. Thank you, Jen.